Welcome back to my channel for another video. So here we go again, guys. The FTSE 100 on the European Open. Two pre-market positions. The first one is a short and it had to give back. Okay, so where the market had opened, where futures had opened the previous day at 11 p.m, it had gained a significant amount of ground. Now it has to give back at some stage. And what you find is just before the open, it will give some of that back that's already been previously gained. Okay, so that's why I took my short position. Closed my short position just before the open. I opened a long position literally a minute or two before the open because after it already selling off, I had to recover. I simply had to recover. And again, I keep saying this is how the stock market works. You know, after the rally, there has to be a pullback. After the sell-off, there has to be a recovery. Okay, now I'm talking about over most of the time short time scales. So I'm not talking over weeks and months. You know, I think people get confused. These are over very small time frames. You know, literally in minutes. Okay, so this is why I day trade. I'm a scalp trader. Okay, so as usual, guys, if you haven't already done so, make sure that you smash that like button. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. And as usual, guys, if you want to contact me, you can contact me at my Instagram, and that's sambora.00. If you want to find out about what I do with my students and in our financial community, have a look at my website. The link to my website is on my bio on my Instagram page. Enjoy this week's video. Double dipping Sambora is back again. Okay, so here we go. So this is 7.6 contracts on the FTSE 100. So I've actually took a short position, you know, what's that, 17 minutes before the open. And the reason that I've done it is, again, the spaces that's being created. So look where the FTSE opened last night. Okay, look where it opened last night and look where it's rallied. Look where it's rallied to. Look at that space that's being created. And I always say, when that space is being created, it has to give back something. Same as when there's a sell-off, there has to be a recovery. So I've taken this position. Quite happy to hold this now for the time being. The idea is to close it before the open, because we might see a pullback on the open. So I'm just going to take advantage of this sell-off, this slow sell-off. Now it is a slow sell-off, but it's a slow sell-off because it's pre-market and it has to give back some of that ground that's previously being created. I mean, look at the space that was created from the market open last night at 11 p.m. when it opened last night. So I'm going to hold this position for now. You know, it's 5-2 now, so I mean, I'm not going to hold it for much longer, to be perfectly honest with you. The idea is that I get out. I might actually have to take a very, very small green here if this doesn't start to sell off like I'm expecting it to. So yeah, let's just hold it for now. There's still over 5 minutes to the open, so I'm quite happy to hold this for the time being just to see where it goes. And listen, if it doesn't sell off like I'm expecting to, I'll take a small green, or I might even take a small red. But the whole logic and approach behind this is that space that's already been created since the open of futures last night, 11 o'clock. You know, you can see where it's opened and where it's rallied, and it's given back a certain amount of ground. But what you find is, you know, just before the European Open, it gives back more of that ground that was previously taken, but then it'll recover back to where it was again. So it's the same thing again, you know, history repeating itself. You know, the historical data telling us time and time again that these same things are happening. So you can see that it is pretty slow. There's not much volume in the pre-market. Sometimes in pre-market there's a certain amount of volatility. We don't have that today. It's very, very slow. But you know, that's okay. I'm still quite happy to hold this for now just to see. But look at that, it is starting to pull back and sell off like I was expecting it to. And it probably won't sell off too much. It is, you know, literally 6 minutes to the open now. So the idea is that I take probably a small profit here, switch it around, and then take a long position. So I'm literally shorting and then going long as well. So let's just hold this for now and see where it goes. I'm hoping for a further sell-off just before the open here. Hopefully I'll get it. 5 minutes to the open. And it should sell off probably a little bit more, not a huge amount. I mean, it's already taken back some of the ground that was already taken, so it's not going to give back too much more. But I'll hold this for now, and listen, if it starts to pull back, I'll just take a small profit, get out, and then the idea is after this short sell-off that's happened pre-market, that I'll go long. So that's the approach again today, same as, you know, previous videos. You know, you're just taking advantage of that space that's being created in the pre-market, but then it comes a different beast when the open happens. Okay, so don't get this confused with the open. You know, the pre-market is completely different from the actual open. So, you know, that's my approach here, is understanding the difference between pre-market and the actual open. Okay, so it's still pulling back, giving back some of that ground that was previously taken, and I'll hold that for a little bit longer. So 4 minutes to the open. I'm definitely not going to be holding this now for much longer. So I'm just going to take that. Let me just take that. So 300 odd pounds, 380 pounds. Okay, so I've went in long because we've seen that sell off. It's a couple of minutes now to the open. So my expectations here is after the sell off that we've just seen, the pre-market, what we should see is recovery on the open. That's what should happen. As I always say, after the sell off there has to be a recovery, after the rally there has to be a pullback. So that's my logic behind this here. The logic behind this is that we've already seen the sell off in the pre-market. Now on the open, that's going to happen in the next 2 minutes, that we should see a spike on the open. That's what we should see. Now listen, I'm prepared to take a hit if it doesn't. Bearing in mind I'm already up £380, so even though it was to lose a couple of hundred, I'm still up overall on the session. So, but the logic here is that it won't pull back further, that there will be a spike on the open, and then it'll probably pull back again. Okay, but that's the logic behind this. So a minute to the open now, so what I'm looking for is probably a little pullback, couple of bullish movements, and I'll end up taking a long green position on this. That's what my expectations are, but again, just because that's what I expect doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen. So again, I'm still ready to take a hit if I need to, and I'm not going to take too much of a hit because I want to stay in profit in this session. So I'm already up 380, so I'm not prepared to lose that and then come out of the session either, you know, net zero or negative net. So I'm not prepared to take that. So here we go. So here's the open. Obviously I've edited the video because it's taken a considerable amount of time, so I've had to edit it. But look at that, up £500. So it done exactly what it says it was going to do. It spiked on the open and it's continuing to spike. I think I might just get a tiny little bit more out of this because this is just the open, and what I'll do is this is going to spike up. It'll hit resistance there, and then it'll come back down and it'll sell off. I'm just going to try and see how much I can get out of this though. So maybe a little bit more. I don't think I'm going to get much more out of this. Let me just see. Look at them rejections. Quite big rejections here. So I'm just hoping for another couple of small bullish movements and then I'm out. So there you have it, guys. Double dip in Sambora. £930. £930 on a short position, almost immediately followed by a long position. Again, it's all about that space is being created. Space is your friend. Space is your friend. As usual, guys, if you haven't already done so, make sure that you smash that like button. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. And as usual, guys, if you want to contact me, you can contact me on my Instagram, and that's sambora.00. The website, if you want to find out what I do with my students in our financial community, the link to my website is in my bio on my Instagram page. Double dip in Sambora. Back again. This is becoming more common, isn't it? The double dip in Sambora. I quite like it. I quite like it. Good return for one session on the European Open, £930. Delighted with that, aren't I? I have to be. Have to be delighted with it. Okay, and anyway, I hope you enjoyed this week's video. Have a good week, guys.